Come on in, honey. The lantern's lit, the veil's a little thin, and the wind's been dying to carry a few secrets your way. Welcome to Raven's Ramblings, where the shadows walk beside us and the past never stays buried, and a good spell can speak louder than a sermon. I'm Raven Nightingale, part healer, part hellraiser, keeper of the old ways and ghost stories alike. So pull up a chair and listen close. You never know what might be whispering in the dark. Welcome back to Raven's Ramblings, where we wander through the mystical, the magical, and the meaningful. I'm Raven, and today we're going to take a little bit, not a full step back from our craft, but a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of mundane stuff too. So, we're going to talk about a really important topic. We're going to talk about mental health healing. This episode is super close to my heart personally because of my own trauma. We all carry wounds, seen and unseen. And while magic can help bring comfort and some clarity, true healing often blends with the mystical and the mundane. So we're going to kind of talk about both a little bit. So before we begin, let's let's take a breath together. Okay? Just inhale deep, hold it, exhale slowly. Kind of feel your shoulders drop, your jaw unclench, and let your spirit kind of soften just a little bit. This this is a safe space. No matter what, with me, this is a safe space. Okay? I am the least judgmental person you are ever going to meet. Well, some of you haven't met me yet, but you know what I'm saying. I feel like you kind of have because I feel like I'm putting a lot of myself out here. So, back to what we're doing. I personally have learned, and sometimes the hard way, because I'm a little bit stubborn. Uh, Healing is not just a straight line. All right, it is extremely messy. It circles back on itself. It demands patience and consistency uh, to heal. Okay, so for me, mental health isn't, well, that's not true. For me, finding ways to balance my mental health between practical tools like therapy and healthy boundaries and rest and those kinds of things. Balancing that with the soul deep magic of ritual and crystals and herbs and that spiritual connection. All right. So, trying to find the balance between those two things is what has gotten me as healthy as I am mentally. All right. Now, those of you that know me personally know that me saying that I am mentally healthy is a little bit of a stretch most days. And that's fair. That tracks. But before these things, I was I was a basket case. I was a wreck. I I was failing. I was failing at a lot of things, just in living in general. So I'm sharing this because if you've ever felt broken or heavy or just tired of carrying so much, you are not alone, and we can heal together. All right. So, witchcraft itself has always been about transformation. And sometimes the greatest spell that we cast is one of self care. We have to take care of ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, no one else can do that for us. All right? That makes sense? Yeah? Okay. Some of the things we can do are grounding rituals, all right? Walking barefoot in the grass or the dirt. Ah, that is the absolute best way to ground for me. Your mileage may vary kind of thing, but for me, that is my favorite thing to do. And I don't get to do it as often as I would like, but it it scratches this deep part of my brain and soothes my soul when I can walk around outside barefoot, like legit. Something else, we can meditate with a candle flame. So you could just light a candle and stare at that flame. It's very, very mesmerizing, and it does kind of help you to clear the brain. Okay. Sitting under a tree. Just feeling a tree, walking through a park and go and lay your hand on a tree. Feel that bark. Feel that life in there. That is very, very grounding. Those kinds of things help bring us back to the present when our minds are trying to spiral on us. And those of us with mental health issues know that the spiral is exhausting. And these are some of the things that can help to stop that spiral, to slow that spiral down until we can get in a healthier place. Some of the crystals that I personally use, and that are recommended, I guess you could say, their correspondences work with it. Things like amethyst, rose quartz, black tourmaline, all of those offer energy that soothes anxiety and fosters self love and protects our space. And I have way more amethyst than I really care to think about. A lot. I have a lot of amethyst. I like purple, so don't judge. Some other stuff, herbs and teas. And even in the mundane world, a lot of people use these things like chamomile tea or lavender tea. So, lavender tea is good for calmness, for calming down anxiety. Chamomile is very good for rest. Peppermint tea, which is delicious. I like drinking it in the wintertime. It's very good for mental clarity. And also with the peppermint, I have essential oils in like a roller ball. When I am overwhelmed, I will put a little bit on the back of my neck. It helps with headaches. If I if I'm a little bit stuffy, I'll put a little dab right below my nose and kind of inhale those things. The peppermint oil is very, very versatile, but peppermint itself is very good for mental clarity. All right, these are just simple kind of at home remedy kind of things, which I just adore. I love doing them. And then we would step off into shadow work, right? And we've talked a little bit about shadow work here and there. I've showed y'all my little shadow work journal that I'm still working on because shadow work is scary. It is very scary, okay? Because in shadow work, we are facing our hidden wounds. We are journaling through those emotions or meditating on those darker parts of ourselves, those things that we don't want brought to light. These are the things that we work on with shadow work, and that's very scary, which can ramp up the anxiety, which means we may need more lavender tea, and it can be a vicious cycle. And shadow work is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart, but it is very powerful. Oh, sorry, guys. Had a yawn slip up on me there. So, in addition to the magical aspects that we just talked about, we also have mundane stuff that we can do. And that's what I've always thought with spell work is yes, you can do that spell, but unless you put in the mundane work with it, that spell's not going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? You can't say, well, I need a spell for a new job, do that spell, and then not apply for a new job somewhere. That they kind of go hand in hand, right? So healing is not only mystical, it is also very practical. Okay. I love a good logic based system. It scratches that little tism part of my brain. So therapy. Therapy can give us tools to kind of untangle our mind. It can give us those tools and coping mechanisms. I don't know. So I keep yawning. I feel like maybe somebody's trying to say something to me. I'm not sure what that's about. Uh, to hold on a minute and let me focus for a few more minutes. So therapy itself can be scary, but it can also be very enlightening. All right. And I've done therapy. I Many years ago I was in therapy almost weekly for a year and a half. And then I kind of tapered off and my therapist changed jobs and yeah. It's very hard to find a good therapist, but once you find one, it can truly change your life. So don't give up. Keep keep trying. All right. Um, because those coping skills are what we need to continue on. All right. So that's therapy. Rest. Rest is huge because when sorry guys, I don't know what is wrong with me tonight. It's not even midnight yet. Rest. Maybe I need the rest. Maybe that's what it is. Rest is a spell on its own. It is a sacred act. It lets your body and your spirit and your mind recover. All right? It gives you that mental break and lets you move on to more important things the next day. Right? Boundaries. Everyone needs good boundaries. And we are always working on those boundaries. Always. Y'all, I don't know. I don't know if something's trying to trigger on me or what. I don't know. Boundaries. Boundaries are protective wards. All right. And they are just as strong as any circle of salt or chalk or barbed wire. Boundaries. And you have the right to put boundaries down for anyone. Anyone. It does not matter. Friend, family, foe, whatever. You have a right to protect your peace. Period. Nobody can tell me any different than that. You have that right. Now, with that, asking for help, whether that be from friends or family or professionals, is an invocation of community care. Like, and that to me is probably one of the hardest ones is asking for help because then you have to admit something's wrong and I can't seem to get past it on my own. Right? Does that make sense? So you have to go outside yourself to try to find that help. And that is really hard because when you ask for that help, you are making yourself extremely vulnerable. And that is terrifying. But sometimes you have to do those things. You have to step outside yourself and ask. Those of y'all watching the YouTube video, I am so sorry that I feel like all you're seeing is me yawning. I think somebody's telling me I need to be practicing what I preach. Yeah, I need to. Yeah. Anyway, so when we honor these everyday practices alongside our magical ones, then we can have a complete plan of healing. You know, we can heal completely, both physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all those things. So I like to think of it kind of this way: the mundane part of this is the foundation. All right, we have to lay a good foundation. And then the magic part are the building blocks that go on top of that. All right. So without the foundation, those building blocks are just going to crumble. We have to combine the two. We have to combine the mundane and the magical for this type of healing to work because together they create something beautiful. So maybe before you go into a therapy session, you light a candle to invite clarity, or you wear a crystal bracelet to remind you of your own inner strength, or you journal. I need to journal too. I know. I downloaded an app on my iPad. I'm going to start journaling some more. So maybe you journal on your feelings, journal it on a regular piece of paper, and then turn that page into a spell and burn it under the moon and release those things. You know, it can be a little bit of everything. And healing can be both practical and enchanted and magical and ritualistic, whatever it needs to be for you. All right? Those are important things. So, I want you to hear this. If you don't listen to anything else I say throughout this podcast, I want you to hear this. You are not broken, okay? You are healing. And healing emotionally and mentally is just like healing a physical wound. It takes time. All right. It takes time. It takes medicine. Sometimes it takes bandages. All of these coping things that we can get from therapy and journaling and clarity and all that are those kinds of things. And it's okay if you are not okay right now. It is 100% okay. Some days feel heavier than others. That is okay. What matters is that you keep choosing yourself again and again and again because you are important. No matter what's going on, you matter. All right? So, with the heavy stuff, we're done. We're going to close with a short ritual, kind of a little short blessing if you want. Uh, just get in a comfortable position and say, I honor my healing. I release what no longer serves me. I welcome peace into my mind and love into my spirit. Yeah. Take one last good deep breath in and exhale and carry those words with you. And always remember that you matter. So, thank you for joining me in this really heavy and tender conversation. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who might need the reminder that healing is possible and it is a process. And if you'd like to support the podcast, don't forget to follow Raven's Ramblings on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you listen or watch. And until next time, may your mind be calm, your spirit strong, and your path lit with gentle light. Bye.